Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. How does the left respond to the verdict from Bengal? That's the key issue I shall discuss today with the doyen of the left, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, A B Bardhan. Mr. Bardhan, let's start with Wednesday's civic poll results. How do you respond to the fact that the Trinamool and Congress could end up controlling something like 60 civic bodies on top of sweeping Calcutta and Salt Lake, leaving the left with just 17 out of 81?
It has been a very big defeat for the left. There is no doubt about it. The people have given their verdict and we have to accept it. But you are talking of the Trinamool and the Congress coming together. The fact is, you see, down below, they have been together. Those who wanted to defeat the left, the voters who were anti-left, they were together, you see, down below, even otherwise. In some places, they voted for the Congress. In some places, they voted for Trinamool.
You've been honest enough to say that this is a very big defeat for the left. The truth is, people were also expecting that this would not be a good result. But has it ended up being worse than your expectations?
I expected a bit better. It has been only slightly better, you see, than the Lok Sabha poll. We have partly improved, you see, compared to the Lok Sabha poll in last time.
You're saying that on the basis of the number of wards you've won?
Yes. Yes. 4% more vote we have got.
Except the problem is that in the Lok Sabha polls of 2009, the Congress and the Trinamool were combined, and so the anti-left vote was united. This time, they fought against each other, so the anti-left vote was divided. Are you sure that the improvement in the number of wards isn't just statistical rather than meaningful?
No. That's why I said before. The anti-left vote down below has been united this time also. Generally, it happens like this. You see, those who want to defeat you, somewhere they vote for the Congress, all unitedly. Somewhere they vote for the Trinamool unitedly.
But you were hoping for a better result.
Better.
One of your principal strongholds that went against you was the North 24 Paraganas. It has 21 civic bodies. You had 19. You've ended up with just 4.
That has been the biggest disappointment as far as I know. I expected much better result, you see, in 24 Parganas.
The other disappointment is that you had 54 civic bodies in 2005.
Yes.
You ended up with just 17, which means you've lost 37. And what's even more peculiar is you've lost double, more than double what you've retained.
I would say, you see, without mincing words, without minimizing the defeat, that it has been a defeat. I would even use the word debacle in some respects. It should have been better. But as I said, you see, within the short time that was available, we improved from the Lok Sabha poll.
A marginal improvement only.
Yes, I don't know, 4% votes.
To what extent is this outcome a verdict on 33 years of left rule?
It is the anti-incumbency factor about which you always say, as far as we are concerned, we should have done better. But it seems, you see, even if you work for the people, if you are doing development, that's not enough. You have to be with the people. You have to be among the people. You have to be sensitive to the people.
And you've ceased being sensitive and with the people?
I have a feeling that our activists lower down, and here I am not naming any particular party, whether it is the CPI or the CPIM or anybody else. It seems to me that there has been some sort of an alienation between our cadres, our activists and the people. That has to be corrected.
To what extent is this outcome also a verdict on Buddha Dev Bhattacharya's chief ministership and his leadership of the left front?
You see, I don't want to comment on some individuals or blame some individuals. I don't want to enter the blame game at all. We have fought together. We have lost together.
And you take the blame together?
And we must take the blame together.
But the captain always has to shoulder greater responsibility.
That's always so, but why is he only the captain? Am I not one of the captains? Is not the General Secretary of the CPIM one of the captains? That is why I am said, you see, none of us can escape our responsibility and we shouldn't.
What then, beyond the question of the verdict, what then is the message the people of Bengal have given the left front?
That they have to improve themselves. They have been too long in power. Maybe they got a bit, swollen-headed because of that. Because of that, perhaps they got alienated from the people. Because of that, perhaps some amount of bureaucratism crept in. All these things are very clear.
Do you think the people of Bengal began to think that the left front had become arrogant?
Maybe. You see, democracy in behavior, in practice, in your relationship is very important. Democracy is not just a form of government. Democracy also is a form of behavior which you have towards the people.
And the left front in its behavior had stopped being democratic.
As I said, without blaming any particular party, one must say that that has been so.
Was this the arrogance of 33 years of power?
As I said, you see, being 33 years in power and at all levels may have given certain very bloated ideas.
The party or the left front as a whole became complacent. They thought they couldn't do anything wrong, and the people taught you a lesson.
You can put it that way,
You accept that?
Yes, but then I tell you, you see, every defeat or success should be analyzed properly. And it will be our task now to analyze the defeat.
I want very much to analyze the defeat with you. A moment ago, you referred to this as the backlash of anti-incumbency. Was it therefore inevitable that this would happen, or could it have been avoided?
It was not inevitable. Had it been so, why were we elected and re-elected 7 times?
So it could have been avoided?
It could have been avoided.
Whose responsibility is it that it wasn't avoided?
The left front itself. As I said, I don't want to enter into the blame game.
The reason...
Not because I am being tactical, but because it doesn't pay. You see, you have to analyze your own mistakes also.
And that's what I want to do with you. Of the 4 parties that form the left front, far and away the single biggest is the CPM. In fact, they could have formed the government on their own. They didn't need the others. Do they therefore take the lion's share of the responsibility?
No, I don't accept your argument that they could have formed the government on their own, because they got that number precisely being part of the left front. Minus the left front, they wouldn't have won.
All right, I accept that. But do they still deserve, or should they accept the lion's share of the responsibility?
To each his own. Everybody must have his share.
And the larger the number of ministers and the larger the presence in government, the greater the share.
But I'm saying, you see, it is not that. Because supposing you have a smaller share, but your persons also don't behave democratically, it becomes a sort of a practice, a habit.
So everyone is equally to blame?
Everybody, yes.
What about the policies the party or the left front followed? You are, after all, communists. Yet towards the end of 33 years in power, you began to be identified almost as a party that supports industrialists, a party that stands for unfair land appropriation. Did your policies let you down?
You see, the laws of the land are themselves anti-people. You talked about taking occupation of land, acquisition of land by the government. The Land Acquisition Act, to which even the left front, you see, tried to use it, should have been abandoned long back. It's an act from the colonial era.
Should you have followed it in acquiring land in Singhur and Nandigram?
That's what I'm saying. That should not have been the practice. That should not have been the practice.
The left front should have known better, but didn't.
It should have. But we are wiser after the event.
But now it's too late.
Now each one of us are saying that that act requires to be scrapped.
Except that you shouldn't have followed it and implemented it in the first place.
In the first place, we shouldn't have.
That was a big mistake.
It was a mistake.
You said a moment ago that the development policies, in a sense, backlashed. That people perceived what you intended as industrialization and development as expropriation. Have you become victims of your own agenda of development and industrialization?
Let me make it clear. I think development has to take place. You can't remain, you see, in your past.
But was it misperceived?
As I said, you see, you can't follow the same practice as was followed by the bourgeois government so far. The left had to, you see, work out a different path of development.
And you didn't.
That is what I said all of us failed in.
You followed a bourgeois path of development,
yes,
which therefore identified you in the eyes of your electorate as a bourgeois party, and you ceased to have the communist ring of sincerity.
As I am saying, the bourgeois path of development has this result, and it is being seen elsewhere also. You must have heard about the POSCO struggle, for instance. People are fighting.
Except that's in another state.
It's in another state. and by another party, but once again following the similar path.
Let's come back to Bengal. As one perceives the trend that's established itself in the last 2 years, the 2008 Panchayat elections, the 2009 Lok Sabha elections, then later that year the assembly bypolls, and now the civic body elections, people say there is a clear trend here, it's going against the left front, and it looks likely that come the assembly elections next year, the left front will lose. Do you accept that that is what looks likely?
You see, this election, the result of this election will have some impact on that. But I can tell you that the assembly election is a different ball game altogether.
How much chance do you give yourself in those assembly elections, given the trend we've seen for the last 2 years?
If we correct ourselves fast from what has happened now, if we learn the proper lessons, if we examine what are the causes, you see, for the defeat, and take corrective steps, and go to the people, you see, with policies properly, I think we can do better.
But can you take those corrective steps?
I'm not, you see, an astrologer, but I think, you see, people have to fight.
Is there the will to fight, or is the left front now demoralized?
No, that is not exactly. I can tell you that the will to fight is very much there.
So you're saying that you need new policies, you need to present them differently, you need to establish a rapport with the people, 3 very difficult things. And then you need a little bit of luck on top of that.
After all, it is a difficult struggle. I don't underestimate it at all.
But has this process of devising new policies, presenting them to the people, changing your relationship with the people, has it even begun?
It has begun right from the parliament election result.
But it didn't pay off this time.
It has.
Except for that minor 4%, which could be statistical.
No. You see, 4% is very important in these elections. And you can see it this way also. In that election, we were a majority only in 22 wards, you see, in Calcutta, in the parliament elections. 22 has now become 33.
All right, some would say that you're clasping and grasping at straws, but at this moment of anguish, I'll let you clasp with them. Let me put this to you. On top of changing policies, on top of changing attitude, on top of a bit of luck, do you also need a new leadership to win into next year?
This is the best leadership that can be there.
But it's a leadership that's identified with failure and defeat.
No. These leaders are capable of changing.
Aren't you asking for a miracle when you say that?
It's not a miracle. People have changed. It has happened all over the world.
Do you really believe that Buddhadev Bhattacharya and his team, not just him alone, but the team, can change the image and convince Bengal that they are the future?
They can. If they try.
Is it likely to happen? Be honest with me.
No, I am being honest. I think, you see, that no new set of leaders, you see, can go and impress the people. People want to see that these very leaders, they have been the leaders for all these years. Good or bad.
So nothing will be gained by changing the leadership?
Nothing will be gained by that.
You have to face up the elections with these leaders?
With these leaders.
Which means that you may have to lose with these leaders?
No, we may win with these leaders.
In your heart, are you resigned to the possibility that a year from now, 35 years of left front rule could come to an end?
You see, look here, we have always been fighters. And we want to fight.
To the end?
To the end. And I can tell you, you see, if we fight to the end and if we are with the people, if we don't start, you see, breast beating just because we have lost one election, then we can do much better, you see, in the assembly.
If in the end, and I know it's an if you don't want to face up to, but if in the end you lose, what will defeat mean?
Nothing. You see, the left front has been defeated a number of times. In an election, in parliamentary democracy, you either win or you lose.
So losing power in Bengal won't be the end of the world for the left front?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Will it be a chance to introspect, to recreate the left in terms of the ideals that you may have now forgotten and left behind?
You see, introspection must begin right now. It has been going on. Corrective steps are being taken, but they have to be expedited. Time is short, I know it.
But defeat will give you that chance to do it with greater luxury and with more time. In a sense, therefore, defeat will be an opportunity to reinvigorate the left.
Every defeat is an opportunity for you to improve and do better.
So
then subsequently win.
So there is a silver lining to defeat if it happens.
It is there. It is there. Though, as I said, I am not reconciled to defeat.
I understand. Let's take a break there. I want to come back and in the limited time available, ask you about Mamata Banerjee. That's in a moment's time. See you after the break. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate with the doyen of the left, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, A B Bardhan. Mr. Bardhan, What do you think of Mamata Banerjee?
I think of her, you see, as a symbol of the anti-left forces. She combines within her all the anti-left, including lies, including exaggerations, including whatever is should not be said even. She says it.
Do you see her as a liar?
She is. But then she is the anti-left.
Do you see her as an enemy rather than an opponent?
She is an opponent and she is also the enemy of the left.
Do you like her?
What is the problem of liking or disliking? I don't, you see, emotionally I don't look at individuals, you see, either amongst myself, in our ranks or in the ranks of the enemy.
Do you respect her?
One must respect an enemy, you see, if he has to fight him.
How much credit do you give her for the fact that she has 4 times in 2 years pushed the left front against the wall, brought you to what you called a debacle?
Oh, well, if it is a question of giving credit, she deserves the credit for having beaten us. I respect her, as I said, you see, as an enemy.
How do you view the prospect of Mamata Banerjee as the future Chief Minister of Bengal?
I can tell you it will be a disaster if that is her ambition. She has not been very successful as a railway minister. And if that is any indication what she will be as a Chief Minister, well, you will have to lump it.
She'll be a disastrous Chief Minister of Bengal.
I am quite sure about it.
She'll be a tragedy for the people of Bengal.
She will be a tragedy for the people of Bengal, and I hope the people of Bengal realize it very soon.
Mamata Banerjee says that after the Panchayat elections, the Lok Sabha elections, the Assembly by-polls, and now these civic polls, the left front has lost the moral right to rule, and she's demanding an early election.
You see, our country runs according to a constitution. We have a constitution. That is the basis of our democracy also. And as long as we have, you see, a majority in the assembly, I see no reason why there should be an election just now.
Except for the fact that 4 times in 2 years the population of Bengal has given a decisive verdict against you. Isn't that their way of saying they've had enough, please go?
No, I think, you see, you are wrong there. If you are talking of the population of West Bengal, only 17% of the people voted this time.
But the full population voted in 2009 and your vote share fell and you were left with your worst performance ever.
And as I have repeated, we have improved on that portion of it.
So there's no moral compunction on you?
There is no moral compunction. There are legal compulsions, there are constitutional compulsions, and according to that, election is due at a particular time, it will be held, not even 1 day late.
Let me put it like this. Maybe, and I accept that the constitutional right is with you, the legal right is with you, but everyone knows, and in your heart even you do, even though you may not admit that in public, that the trend is against you and chances are you're going to lose. That being the case, how much authority and credibility will you have for the next 1 year? Or will you just limp along till the end of the race?
I don't think. We have been, you see, used to opposition. The opposition was there in Nandigram.
But now you're in power and you're limping, and for the sake of Bengal, it may be better to accept the writing on the wall and step aside.
No, not at all.
Can you govern
I
this
don't
situation?
think this is the last word of the people of West Bengal. I don't believe it at all. I think, you see, the people of West Bengal who have experienced the left front will do it better.
So until the people of Bengal finally, and forgive the colloquialism, kick you out, you're going to stay there.
I think we will stay, and we will stay for good. And if we are defeated, if we are, I repeat, we will come back.
All right? There's always hope. That's what we all live for. Mr. Bardhan,